All right, y'all. Welcome back to another WWE Overrated, Underrated edition. Y'all really like these, so we're probably going to continue the series. Today's guest is Mo, the most hated guy on the No Name Wrestling podcast for obvious reasons. Today, Mo,
Wow.
no malarkey, man. No malarkey.
What you mean? What you mean? I don't be saying nothing, bro. Y'all just be hating. Y'all just be hating.
And this is all time. We got male, we got women superstars on here as well. We're just going to give our perspective, whether they're overrated or underrated, and then we'll also give our 2 cents a little bit about that. But as always, got to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Mo's channel as well, the Rated M. Check out his podcast, everything he does over here. You'll see the link in the descriptions below, and the social medias right here underneath this. So I'll let Mo start because I want to see what he's cooking up with, man. So who's the first wrestler you're going to drop on us?
Before we do, I gotta say, y'all gotta subscribe to the No Name Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel as well, man. Road to 1K. So make sure y'all show your support for that. Awesome podcast every Sunday. Was it 5 p.m. Eastern time zone? I'm on the West Coast, so yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern time zone. So make sure y'all tap in. First person I got for you, man. I got Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné. How do you feel about her?
Just in the WWE, I feel a little underrated. I feel like
Okay.
her percent. I mean, first off, let's just clear the air. She accomplished a lot of things in her WWE career. It wasn't like she was a bum. It's not like
No.
she was a scrub. She has great accomplishments, but I think we always felt her ceiling could have been higher. We always felt maybe she could have been the Becky Lynch. Maybe she could have been the top star of the division if she was presented or treated that way. It always felt she was used to either get other superstars really over to help make them bigger, or it was kind of like she had a run, but it was like temporary, where it just kind of seemed like they were just giving her something just to kind of give it to her. It never felt authentic, for most people. So her in-ring skills have always been good. Her character work from NXT and on the main roster was good, I thought. Her promos were always kind of, but I always felt she had everything that was, meant to be somebody who was supposed to be a superstar in the women's division, and she was, but she became a lot bigger, I think, outside of WWE, doing all the things that she's been doing. So I'll say underrated, and whenever she goes back, because I do think she will go back to WWE at some point, I think she will be utilized a lot better. All right, first superstar I got to throw out there, man, your guy. You're the number one defender for him most times, Bret Hart.
Man, I'm like the default defender when it comes to Bret Hart, just because I respect his work a lot. But I mean, it really depends on who you talk to. But for the most part, I'm gonna say properly rated. Like in most circles, I don't see the heavy slander that we get on the No Name podcast for Bret. It's usually like mostly respect. I think Bret, obviously, legend. In ring, there's no denying that. I know his character work doesn't connect with everybody outside of '97, but despite that, he was able to get himself over with the crowd and connected with the crowd very well, regardless of that, and backpacked a terrible era, and I think he deserves all the credit for that. And I think for the most part, he gets that credit for that. If I had to pick overrated or underrated, I would lean to the underrated side because there is a little too much slander. I feel like a lot of it has to do with his interviews and stuff because he does get a little bit over the top. It feels like he's kind of too bitter sometimes. In some cases, I understand, but other cases, it's like, all right, Bret. But yeah, I'm going to lean properly rated. So for this next one, I kind of cheated a little bit, but I wanted to see your opinion on this because I've heard different things. I want to see how you feel about it. How do you feel about the Shield as a faction?
I don't think properly rated. I don't know
Okay.
what perception you've heard, but
I've heard some shit. That's all I'm saying.
the Shield is a good faction. They didn't last long. They didn't overstay their welcome. Everybody outside of the Shield has become big in their own right, as most people expected. That might be the most well-put group. That might be the most well-put group of superstars put together that either over-exceeded expectations or everybody succeeded on their own. Them as a unit, they were cool. I mean, they didn't really accomplish too much as a group. If you look at they had some titles here and there, but they were mainly used as like a dominant force. I don't think when you think of groups, I'm looking at groups that either helped elevate people within the group or did like some revolutionary stuff. The Shield as a group, they're not the NWO. They didn't revolutionize wrestling like that.
No.
I even think the Bloodline is better than the Shield because the Bloodline had better stories, elevation of talent, clearly more within that group. So them as a group, I think it's mainly probably a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people because it's the Shield. You know what I mean? So, the Shield was dope. The Shield was really dope. They're probably one of my top 3 favorite factions, I would say, personal favorites. But them as a group, I'll say properly rated. The next person we're gonna name, speaking of somebody in the Shield, got to throw out Roman Reigns. Man, how you feel about the Tribal Chief?
You know what you were doing with that one. It's a thing of like it depends on who you talk to.
You gotta pick a
If
side.
I gotta pick a side, okay. Fuck, because some sides really underrate his value, and some sides really, really overrate him. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna lean towards the overrated side. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, because there's a certain section of people that try to completely not everybody does this, but there's this side of people that try to completely erase the bad when it comes to Roman and his all-time rankings. Now, obviously, I think the good has outweighed it enough for him to enter the top 10 and be a lock top 10, 100%. But when we start talking about like top 3s and top 5s, and when people try to slot him in there, I'm just like, I don't know about that one, gang. But no, Roman's peak, I think he has a top 3 peak of all time. I think his elevation of talent while having, in my opinion, the greatest title reign in WWE history, like that. If he had turned heel sooner, I feel like it's like a point everyone hits on, but it's true. If he had turned heel sooner, we wouldn't have this problem. Like I wouldn't have the pushback I have when it comes to Roman in that conversation. But yeah, Roman's amazing as a talent. I think in ring, I think he gets a little bit underrated. I think his in-ring ability gets a little bit underrated. On the promo side, he's gotten a lot better character work. I mean, that goes without saying. The Tribal Chief is one of the greatest character peaks we've ever seen. Like, Roman's amazing. I just feel like some of his fans, it's mostly his super stans that put him in convos he doesn't quite belong in. So that's why I leaned overrated, because I had to pick one. But yeah. So my next guy, I got a little bit of flack for you said what?
I said trash. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. No, the next guy. No, the next guy I have on my list. I've said some things about him on the podcast that got me a little bit of flack. We had a mini crash out about how I feel about his all-time perception. How do you feel about Brock Lesnar?
Ooh, he was one of the names I had written down, but I changed it. I don't feel Brock is overrated. It just feels like sometimes he doesn't try, which makes it hard.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard to kind of put him underrated. I believe, this is just me, if Brock Lesnar never leaves WWE and he stays in wrestling the entire time, I firmly believe he's top 5 all time. Just the way they were pushing him the first 2
it was
years
ridiculous.
of his career,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all the other things he would have already accomplished outside of that 2-year reign. And that was a full-time reign, and 2 years that he did all this stuff. So, like when Brock really tries, you look at his matches with Danielson and AJ and the stuff with Cena and CM Punk and, even the stuff with Seth. Like, he could do some good stuff, even some stuff with Roman here and there. But that bad. I feel like Brock Lesnar from 2017 to 2020 was one of the people that was unbearable to watch on TV because of his perception and his booking. He was one of the reasons that you turned off WWE. He was one of the reasons that made WWE in those bad years bad. He wasn't the sole reason, but he was a part of it. And I feel like if you're a superstar who's a part of the product that's making it hard to watch, that makes your bad at a level that is like really, really high. You know what I mean? Like, Randy Orton has had some low years, but there was never a point in Randy's career where I was like, oh, I'm turning off the TV because Randy Orton's on my television. Like, he never had a low like that bad. Brock's lows was like, when he came out, you were like, bro, you never knew what you were going to get. Like, you would get something good with, CM Punk and then turn around and get something bad with Braun Strowman. You know what I mean? Like, there was never a equal balance. It was a 50-50. Like, you never knew what you were going to get. So I feel Brock a little overrated.
Okay, if you had to lean one, okay.
His work can be good if he wants it to be good, but that's a big if though. And I feel like you're in
that's the problem.
It's kind of like, I remember people had talked about Randy Moss in the NFL where like he had talked about some games he didn't try because he maybe was upset or he was angry, but when Randy Moss was peaking, nobody could stop him. You know what I mean? Because he was Randy Moss,
couldn't do nothing with him.
Yeah, so it's like, maybe he could have accomplished more things, if he had maybe tried more, who knows. But I feel like Brock's, when you're looking at the good and the bad, I feel his bad may start to outweigh his good a bit just because he was literally unbearable to watch on TV at one point. I feel like if you becoming somebody that's becoming a process of the product that's bad, it's a problem. Next person I'm going to throw out there, I'm going to throw out the first woman, I believe, for my side, Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. I don't really have any strong feeling to her. I feel like she's maybe a little bit underappreciated. Maybe. I think people forget like she was the woman, like in that division from like late 2016 to when she lost to Ronda Rousey. Like her character work was really great. Her promo ability, I think she's one of the best women's promos ever.
100%.
Her matches were, if she was in there with somebody that could like really elevate her game, she did. First woman's winner of an elimination chamber. Like I feel like she leans more into the underappreciated side. I feel like people are starting to forget that a little bit. Especially because she's been far away from that. She was doing the Fiend thing for so long, but I think that peak was really, really good. So if I had to lean anywhere for Alexa, I'd go underappreciated. Now, another guy that's a popular topic on the No Name podcast, the ultimate underdog himself, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, bro. Okay, so Sami Zayn is not overrated.
No.
The problem with Sami Zayn is the perception of his character arc. Let me give you two examples, okay?
Okay, yep.
Number one, he's past the underdog stage. We know he's not an underdog anymore, but sometimes WWE still portrays his character as if it's underdog-ish. When he's main evented WrestleMania, he ended the greatest Intercontinental Championship reign of all time. He's already done all these accolades and things that put him over the underdog aspect. So when he goes backwards, it makes it feel like, why is he backtracking instead of moving forward as a character? Daniel Bryan was an underdog, but once he finally achieved the goal, he stopped portraying underdog because he realized he wasn't an underdog anymore. He had achieved the goal. He is him now. Sami Zayn, it's like, how could it make sense from a storyline angle where he believes in himself that he could beat the peak version of the tribal chief Roman Reigns, but has self-doubt about going up against somebody like Karrion Kross because of self-manipulation when Karrion Kross barely wins matches on TV? That doesn't make sense. That's ass backwards. So that's one of the main issues about Sami's character that has been really hard for people to portray and really gravitate towards too. And then with the U.S. Championship reign, Sami isn't a bad option, but it's like there were better options. Like Jimmy Uso was a better option. Carmelo Hayes could have been a better option because I'm not a fan of the Melo Don't Miss stuff. I just much rather see Carmelo Hayes.
I agree.
I'd much rather see him do a singles push and stuff on his own. And it's just, what doesn't make sense about that too, about like a month or two ago, Sami Zayn had the opportunity to go to SmackDown and compete for a world championship and literally turned that down to stay on Raw to continue fighting Karrion Kross and then get moved to SmackDown and goes immediately after the mid-card title. Sami Zayn's been talking about a world championship for a while now, but goes back to the mid-card division. You want the world title or you don't want the world title? Like, make up your, like, there's inconsistency with Sami's booking. That's the main issue that I have with people. So, as many people do as well. But I'll say Sami is properly rated, though. He's not overrated. Okay. His booking is just very inconsistent. Next person I'm going to throw out here, Nikkita Lyons.
Oh, geez. How do I even attack this one? Like,
say it with your chest.
Ass. It's a figuratively and literally, but ass. Like, I haven't seen anything from her for me to be like, wow, like at all. Like, I just, if I had a pick, neutral, I don't know.
So you don't think she's overrated or underrated?
She doesn't get portrayed. She's not on TV like that anymore. I don't. Yeah, she's on Evolve, but like, I've never met a Nikkita Lyons fan either. Yeah, I guess neutral. I just, I have no thoughts on that woman. I really don't. Like, when she came on TV, I just channel changed. But that's
okay.
That's about it, bro. I'm gonna give you a women's one. How do you feel about Lita all time?
Underrated. Lita comes from the Divas era, so obviously things were different from her time. But I think Lita was a revolutionary superstar of her era because of the popularity she was able to reach with the Hardys and be able to stand out differently. Like, yes, Lita was a diva, but she had a cool, edgy style to her that didn't make her feel like the other divas. You know what I mean? Like, she had her own swag. She had her own uniqueness. She was somebody that stood out. And she was somebody that actually had storylines with the guys and did things outside of the women's division. So I feel like maybe she gets a little bit overlooked now because women's wrestling has evolved so much. So that's why I'm going to say underrated.
100% agree. I feel like when people prop up Trish, I feel like Lita needs to be either the next spot or the spot over. Like, I feel like she needs to be in the same realm personally.
I'm going to stick with the women. What about Brie Bella?
See, I have thoughts on Nikki. Brie, Brie's an interesting case because I never had an issue with Brie. It was that little mini. You remember that little mini run they had in 2018 where she just kept botching shit? Yeah. I'm like, you never used to have this problem. I'm like, what happened? Yeah. But I don't want to keep using the cop out, but like, I don't feel like people prop up Brie the way they prop up Nikki. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would probably lean. Yeah, neutral. I'd probably lean at neutral. People have complained about her booking a little bit, but I want to see how you feel about Rhea Ripley.
Oh, okay. Rhea Ripley is a superstar. Potentially could be a mega star for the company. She's literally one of the top 5 most over superstars in the company. Yes, she's going to get put in the world title scene just like John Cena was consistently during his peak. Yes, she's going to get pushed heavily, just like Roman Reigns was at his peak. Rhea Ripley has reached that level where she's going to be utilized in top spots. Doesn't mean she has to be there all the time. I do agree with that, but she's going to live in that, atmosphere until she gets older and other people start to come up. And she's not even 30 yet, so she has a long way to go for her peak. Rhea Ripley is very good in the ring. She's not bad on the mic. When she's given the right stories, she could tell good stories with the proper booking, like with Liv Morgan all the way up until SummerSlam, and then after SummerSlam, it just went all over the place. The only thing Rhea Ripley misses is a very good championship reign under her resume, and that's really not due to her fault. That's due to the lack of consistency of the booking that the women have been given. Not even just her. Look at Io Sky's championship reign; that was ass. Bayley ass. Tiffany Stratton's hasn't been that great either. Even now with before Naomi won the championship, you know what I mean? Like, Io's world championship reign still wasn't that good. Like, she had 2 championship reigns that weren't good because she wasn't wrestling, she wasn't doing anything. They weren't giving her any like stories to really sink her teeth into. So it's not really a real issue. It's more of the lack of consistency due to the booking with the creative team. Rhea Ripley, when it's all said and done, she will go down as one of the top 5 greatest women's wrestlers ever. She will be in the top 5.
100% agree.
The only thing, honestly, she'll probably need maybe is a WrestleMania main event, and she's big enough to get that if she's with the right person. Like, her and Bianca can main event at WrestleMania easily.
That's been my agenda for the longest. I'm waiting on that.
Becky Lynch, that could main event at WrestleMania.
Main event, yeah.
Like, they can get there. So, all right, we gotta get spicy for Mo. He's been a little bit neutral, man. So,
okay,
my guy, Maharaja Jinder Mahal.
Listen, I don't hate Jinder. I hate his title reign. Okay, I think Jinder was put in a bad spot, and it wasn't his fault. Because he literally said on an interview, he found out that day he was winning the WWE Championship. He went into that arena not having a damn clue what the hell was happening. And obviously, here you go. Obviously, he don't book himself. You know what I'm saying? But just because I've said neutral too many fucking times, and there is for some reason a legion of Jinder Mahal fans that will defend that title reign with their entire heart, I'm gonna just lean overrated. Because I see zero defense for that title reign. I will defend Jinder himself because he was put in a bad spot. But that reign, oh man. And there's people that will genuinely cape for that reign too. I got a name that I feel like doesn't really get talked about much these days, but let's talk about Rob Van Dam. How you feel about Rob Van Dam?
RVD, man. RVD properly rated. I don't see people putting him in conversations he doesn't belong in, like top 10s or anything, but RVD is one of the best high flyers of all time. I believe one of the most unique superstars ever that kind of did things his way. I'll say properly rated. Okay, so next superstar I'm gonna throw out here. Right. Honest opinion. Logan Paul.
Oh man, I'm gonna piss off people no matter what I say about him. Okay, Logan, for the level of experience he has as a professional wrestler, I think he is at a stage that he should be at, right? Because I have no problem with outsiders coming into WWE. I've never had an issue with that. I don't care. I don't care how you get there. I just care if you produce good work when you get here. That's all I give a crap about. But my problem with him is the position they have him on the card. And when he's constantly in main event situations, and the only time for me that he has hit in those main event situations was his match, not the build, the match with Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel all those years ago. But he has that outsider, that celebrity who came in and had a banger, that energy has worn off of him. And I can't keep giving him the passes when, for me, he's kind of under delivering in these situations. And I feel like there's a lot of people that look at Logan Paul and, because of his name value, throw world title around him. If they were booking the show, they would throw world title on him right now. And just for that, I'm going to lean to the overrated side. But I will say, I think Logan has a ton of potential. I think if they just move him down to the mid card, because it does seem like he's more full time now. So if they do move him down to the mid card and let him like put in reps with like a lot of these great workers, I think Logan could really elevate his game, and I could see him as a world champion, 100%. All right, so I'm gonna give you one more woman for this list. How do you feel about Lyra Valkyria?
Lyra is a big part of the future. She might be a little underrated just for the fact I think people may be overlooking her potential. I think everybody's looking at Roxanne. Everybody's looking at Julia. Everybody's looking at Stephanie. I think Lyra is in that conversation with those people, and I don't see enough people putting her in those conversations. I feel like she has a bright ceiling, depending on whatever the booking situations do with her. But I feel like she's a little underrated because I think people overlook her too much a little bit. Next person I'm going to throw out here. What about Michin, man? Somebody different. How do you feel about Michin?
Okay. I don't know if I've said this for anybody else on this list so far, but yeah, I'm going to say underrated. I feel like if they would have gave her the same presentation that they gave her in NXT, I think she could have kept building some more momentum, even after she didn't win the U.S. title. I think if they could have kept going on, because in ring, I think she's great. I think on the mic, I think she's solid. But they haven't really given her the chance to really showcase that too much. But I think if, like I said, if they had her presentation from NXT, I think she could have remained over and continues to build that momentum. But they haven't really done that. And I don't think people really if you didn't watch NXT, you're not gonna understand fully what she was back then. But I think that Mia Yim or Michin could work perfectly. So speaking of NXT, let's talk about Trick Williams. How do you feel about him?
Trick Williams was overrated at one point. With the NXT Championship reign, that shit was hot ass. Mainly due to the lack of competitors, I will say, with that men's division. But I think Ilya Dragunov tricked a lot of people to showing Trick Williams' potential, and that he was like, oh, this guy is going to be a show stealer or whatever the case may be. After that, it was kind of like, it's kind of dull. Now, I do think his TNA World Championship reign has been a lot better. His matches have still been okay. I'll say now properly rated, though. I can't put him in the overrated territory because I think he's made up for it a bit, but I don't think he's underrated either because I'm not going to lie to you. When he comes to the main roster, I don't think he's going to be what some people envision, like world champion, main event guy. Like, he's not better than Carmelo Hayes, and they struggling with him. So if they struggle with Carmelo Hayes,
he might need to stay down there for a little bit.
Trick Williams might be lost in the shuffle. I'm not gonna lie, unless they put him back with Melo. I don't know, but
I think they need each other. Yeah, I've been looking at that. I feel like they need each other to really start advancing.
All right, next person I'm gonna name. I got 2 people left. This is the last woman superstar that I'm gonna throw out there.
Okay.
Just to see your perspective. Liv Morgan.
World War III. If you know, you know. But Liv Morgan. I feel like that vocal minority fandom that she had like last year, where they were shoving her in convos she don't belong in, I feel like they've tamed themselves down a little bit. They've calmed down. And I feel like Liv has started to get a little bit underappreciated.
Oh.
I feel like some people might still be stuck on how annoying her fans were at one point when she wasn't what she is now. And especially in the beginning of this year, like Liv was really starting to win me over. And I wasn't the biggest Liv Morgan fan. Like I liked her, but she wasn't like she was really starting to win me over. Like her that tag match her and Raquel had with Naomi and Bianca for the tag titles on Raw. I thought that was amazing. Her performance in the Chamber was great. Like I feel like Liv, and even her work before Rhea came back before SummerSlam last year, like she proved herself to, really elevate her game, whether that was in the ring, whether that was as a promo, as a character worker. Like she improved on all fronts. I feel like her Rhea story got a little bit sabotaged. I feel like they did a little too much with that, like you said. But I feel like some people are still stuck on her fandom throwing her in combos she don't belong in. And I feel like now she started to work her way up where she's maybe not in that Becky Charlotte conversation, but she's getting there. So the last one I'm going to throw at you is one of my favorite guys on the current roster. The former world heavyweight champion, my glorious king, Gunther.
Underrated. Gunther is only underrated for the people who don't appreciate Gunther. It's just a simple fact. Gunther's style is very unique. Nobody else on the roster is like him. He's very old schoolish. He's not the flashiest. He doesn't have the flashiest gear. He doesn't have the flashiest moveset, but he's one of the most believable guys on the roster. When that bell rings, Gunther is one of the most untouchable guys on the roster. He can provide a good match with the 5-star classic with the broomstick if he wanted to. That's how good he is in the ring. I get that 80% of his time in WWE he's been attached with the championship around his waist or on his shoulder, but I think that just adds more to his presentation of the gimmick that he portrays, being the ring general, the mad is sacred, wanting to protect the sport that he loves. Some people get it, some people don't. For Gunther, I feel like he's underrated for his style because it doesn't connect with everybody.
100%.
Last person I'm going to throw out here, you got to give an honest opinion, man. Jey Uso.
Why did I know you were going to say that? I had a feeling he was going to come up on your side, bro. I had a feeling. That's why I didn't write him down. Jey's such a weird case because, yes, I respect the fact that he got himself so over. Like, that is nuclear popularity. As a world champion, I feel like his presentation wasn't bad. The run just wasn't long. I think my only issue with Jey is his in-ring ability, but he's not the great Khali. You know what I mean? Like he's not terrible, but I just feel like at the main event level, he doesn't perform to a level that he should be as a main eventer. So just for that, I'm a lean overrated, just because I don't want to end this on a cop out. I'm a lean overrated. Jey, obviously a Hall of Famer with him and his brother. One of the greatest I think the greatest tag team of all time. But as a single star, I feel like there's a little, and even the promo side, I feel like I prefer a heel Jey Uso. Like heel Jey Uso to me, I feel like there was more layers to his character. Now it was just kind of just yeet. Like I feel like they're starting to show a little more flashes of him adding more off what they did on Raw, this past Raw, where we're recording this. Like he showed a little bit more seriousness at the end of that Raw. I hope they keep adding to that because Jey Uso is a good storyteller, but we've only seen that on the heel side. We haven't seen that on the babyface side. I feel like that's been a bit of the problem. Well, folks, that was WWE Overrated or Underrated edition with Malik here, man. I appreciate you bringing me on the channel. Make sure you subscribe to his page, subscribe to my page, subscribe to the No Name Wrestling Podcast YouTube page. Make sure you tap in every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time zone, man. We get lit over there, man. We get lit over there. Community continues to grow, and it's a lovely thing, man. But yeah, again, Malik, thank you for bringing me on, man.
Make sure you guys subscribe. Like you said, if you want to see other creators a part of this, leave it in the comment section below. Some of your favorite creators that you would like to see a part of this series.